to do is to take the text now of the form, so it's text, because remember, all of that is being written here falls under the class form. So it's the form. This is a method of the form. So any member variable that you specify, like text, is referring to that property of the form. If you want to refer to the text of something else, like the text of a control, you have to say, I'm talking about text, but for the text box. Are we clear on that? So that we don't get confused? Okay? This text here is the text property of the text box. So whatever you put in that goes in the text box. Whereas this text with nothing in front of it is really the text of the form. Now you could have said, oh, then I could have said this, you know, this. Okay, so the object that I am a part of, I want its text. So you could do it that way, you know, it's just superfluous, you don't have to. But that's what you could do. But if you didn't want to, okay, this has to be a capital T, okay, you could have also said, hey, text, okay, like that. So a single line could take care of it. And why is that? It's because you have to be aware of another important thing, okay, is that the assignment operator is really a method, and it returns something. Okay, you can actually overwrite that method. Okay, you can say, when I set something equal to something, yes, I want to set it equal to it, but I want to do a bunch of other things. Like maybe this is a bank application, and you're setting the amount of money in an account to something. You may want to keep track of who's doing that and so forth. So the assignment equal will set the amount, but it will also log employee number, because you have to log into this application, so you have a login ID, you have an employee ID, and it can keep track of the fact that employee www, who's having much fun here, okay, employee www is the one who made this transaction at 9:56 a.m. and 33 seconds on such and such day. Okay? So you can make your assignment do all kinds of things. So and the assignment returns something, which is the value that was assigned. So when I say text here of the text box is equal to this, it then returns that, and I can say the text of the form is equal to that part. So instead of doing two lines where I repeat this calculation, I have a single line when I say get the value, turn it into a string, put it in the text of the text box, and also put it in the text of the form. Does that make sense? So a single line, essentially, this quiz was a single line. Okay. Yes, you didn't have to go look around, but it really was that. And at that point, I can say, all right, I think I'm done. I just say, let's run this thing here, and boom, 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 we're waiting, succeeded. Here it is, here's my form. I move, and yeah, it is showing up in both the caption. This is the caption. The text property is this thing, the caption, which goes all across the top. So you could have a whole sentence, whatever you want to put in, okay? And here's my text box. It has a text property, which just shows up in the text box. I want it to be the value of the scroll box, okay? Some people were concerned, hey, mine is only going to 91. Well, here it is, because there's a little bit of a gap here and so forth, but hey, it didn't matter. I just wanted to see whatever the value is to make sure that it displayed in both the text box and on the caption. Now, someone had to say that this is not quite what the spec called for, because they had a scroll bar. If I go back to it, that wasn't the length of the whole thing. The scroll bar was something like this, and on top of that, if I remember correctly, it was something like this. So no, that's not what the specs call for. The specs say it's got to be at the top and the width of the form. So simple spec, follow the specs, okay? And again, this is a pass-fail. Okay? It's going to be 0 or 100. Okay, so this is it. Even with me doing all the talking, it really didn't take all that long. But here's another thing we can try and see. Let me see if I have that here. Yeah. I went to Copilot. I grabbed the specification without some of